So knowing how polarizing Abby was in the game, what drew you to her? Like, why did you feel that it mattered to tell her story?
Oh, you want to start or what?
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, how are ya?
Hi, guys.
Hi, cute hair.
Oh, thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for
Hi.
having
Nice to meet
me.
you.
This story has lived with you for years. You have watched people love it, hate it, break over it. So now that you're bringing it to life again through a different lens for a different audience, what part of The Last of Us 2 still breaks you?
That's a good question. So many. It's there's a tragedy to this story because in the world of Last of Us, we put characters through awful situations and see sometimes their best or their worst in humanity. So there's a part of me that it's like I love these characters so much, but I do feel sad for them of what they're going through. But ultimately, I think there is an important conversation within the story about loss and grief and justice, and it all stems from love. I hope that people that watch it in that same way that as we wrote it, we were wrestling with these ideas, and we try not to be preachy about anything, just to show the complexity of these situations and how there aren't necessarily good answers. There aren't necessarily good guys or bad guys, and we still wrestle with a lot of the ideas that are in this story to this day. Like as we're writing it, we'll argue about whether the characters are doing the right thing or the wrong thing, whether we agree with them or not. And often we have different answers, but I think that's what makes this story so rewarding to work on.
You have spoken really beautiful about how Bella helped you carry you through some of the darker days on set. So I wanted to ask you, how did that real life connection fit into your performance as Dean, especially in the emotionally heavy scenes?
Yeah, I think we helped each other. We really communicated heavily, and I think we also had this natural chemistry and connection, and this choice to be friends, as opposed to like forcing ourselves to be friends. And it really happened in a lovely way. And I think because we could be so connected to each other, we were also very vulnerable with each other. So when we were feeling like we needed something in particular, we were not afraid to ask. I just wanted Bella to feel supported because Bella's so young, and taking on a whole season as #1 is not an easy task. I think being so outspoken and extroverted and kind of like different from Bella in that way, I think I brought out a side of them that really hopefully allowed Bella to grow and realize that Bella's version of being a dick is everyone else's version of being nice.
Yeah, I almost never say this, but I'm a huge fan. I'm really excited to talk to you. I love your work, so thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're in a project, I want to see it all the time. I think that you have built a career around really bold, smart choices from, like Book Smart, Dope Sick to Unbelievable, and of course, this show. So knowing how polarizing Abby was in the game, what drew you to her? Like, why did you feel that it mattered to tell her story?
Yeah, I was obviously aware of the conversation surrounding her character in the game and sort of what it meant to sort of, I guess, take on this kind of role. It was just, I think I had pretty big shoes to fill, or at least I felt that way going into it. But once I started sort of diving a little deeper into prep and playing her, I think it's very easy to paint her as this evil villain, and she's more than that to me. And I thought it was really important for the audience to see, the more broken parts of her, and that she is just a flawed human being. I think the case for a lot of the other characters in this show too. I think it was also really important for audiences to really understand her grief a bit more, and her loss that she's experiencing is very similar to Joel's. It's very similar to Ellie's. I felt that it was really important to sort of give Abby that context, and that was important to Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin, the showrunner. You know, her introduction in the game is very jarring and confusing, and people are wondering where she comes from and what's happening. And I think in the show, it's really nice that we are given that context and that lead up to her and how she, you know, what's driving her.
The story shows how trauma and loss can distort a person's perception of the other. So what was the biggest emotional challenge in creating characters who are both victims and perpetrators at the same time?
Again, a really interesting question. I would reframe it more as characters who are stuck in the past versus looking toward the future, right? And I think that when you look at characters like what Ellie and Abby go through, they are characters who are, because of their trauma, locked in the pain of the past, and they can't see the potentials and the hope for the future. And so it's about creating that resistance between who they could be and who they're stuck as. And the hope becomes, will they be able to get past themselves? And by whatever means necessary, by both cruelty and love.
There are a few moments that, you know, when Hallie and I and the rest of Naughty Dog were working on the game, that for a bunch of different reasons just didn't fit in there. And those were some of the first things we picked off the floor and dusted off and said, what if we got another crack at this? And there's some of those things made it into the show, and I can't say anymore.
And you have spoken, I mean, you just recently said that it can be really overwhelming, like to lead a story. But I think also it can be really like overwhelming to be part of a huge franchise. So Young, I wanted to ask you that, how do you feel like stepping into a really big franchise and something that the fans are really like looking forward to watch on season 2? How did you work in order to actually feel like, okay, I'm also a part of this huge thing?
Yeah, I was aware of the scale of the work and how much people love the franchise, and all that stuff is great, but I definitely relied on the writing, and I kind of narrowed in my focus on really the day-to-day, the work, the scenes, the actors, the cast and crew. And I had a lot of trust in Craig and Neil, the showrunners. So yeah, I was cognizant of this incredible IP that I was joining, but it really, for me, it kind of distilled down to just doing my job as an actor and bringing truth to the words and doing my best to elevate the scripts that were given to me. And it helped to have really cool cast to work with.
Yeah, especially considering that Abby is a character that fans already know from the inside out, you know, like emotionally, visually, even physically. So as an actress, where did you begin? Like, what was your entry point into building her from the inside out? Was there like a specific moment or emotion that helped you unlock your own version of her?
There are certainly things that allowed me to tap into those emotions, and some things I can't talk about, unfortunately. I would go on and on about this one particular moment that really allowed me to get to that place, but I can't, unfortunately, because it's spoiler territory. But yeah, I'd say just the collaboration with Craig and Neil was very easy, and they had a lot of trust in me, and really from our first meeting, which was really cool, to have people like that I really do admire so much, to have so much confidence in me, confidence that I would you know, do this character justice, meant a lot to me. So I felt like I really had a lot of pressure that I put on myself, but once I got to set, those nerves kind of went away because they were so welcoming. And yeah, I think I just had to, the goal was just memorizing the dialogue, showing the more raw and vulnerable parts of her, because at the end of the day, I think that's what it humanizes her in a lot of ways. And that's different from the game, I'd say.
I love to see like the collaboration between the two of you and how you have managed to create this really complex story. I wanted to ask you, in this working process, what is something that you admire the most from each other? Like something like Hallie you admire from Neil, and Neil you admire from Hallie.
Oh man, you want me to be nice? That's really okay. I think I appreciate that that Neil isn't precious about stuff, right? He best idea wins no matter where it comes from. And so he's extremely open and flexible, and he's just trying to honor the themes and honor the characters. So there is a lack of ego that I really respect, but I wouldn't tell him that to his face.
The things I've liked about Hallie's since I read her first sample, which is why I wanted to hire her, is there's a certain danger to her writing. The characters felt very authentic, but she wasn't afraid to go to taboo places or dark places or wherever wherever the story needed to go. So I knew I would have a writing partner that would just go on this crazy journey with me, and there's nothing that would be off the table, that we would explore everything. And I find that's how you get the best ideas. You're not afraid of where the story might take you.
You have spoken proudly about your Peruvian roots, and being a part of a series with this global reach, do you think about the ripple effect that your presence in the series might have on aspiring actors from Latin America?
Not just mine, though. I think there are at least 4 Latinos who are big roles in this season. We have Danny Ramirez, we have Gabriel, we have Pedro, we have everybody, like me too, and Ariela. Ariela is also Latina. She's Mexican. So we've got like so many countries covered, and not in a way that was like forced. It was quite natural. I think they really chose the people who were best for those roles. And that alone is something to be so proud of, and something that I'm so proud to be a part of. And also just, the fact that I can represent my country and really, really shine a light on it. Yeah.
If someone took a behind-the-scenes photo of a moment you never want to forget from this show, what will be happening in this picture?
Probably us all doing karaoke at Funky's.
Yeah, I think it would probably be one of those days where we have off and we're all together, either doing karaoke or playing pool. Something so grounded and real. Yeah.
Sometimes we would just sit in the room on the floor, all of us in a circle, and just like play games or talk. Yeah.
But now I have to ask now, which is your favorite karaoke song? The one you always go to?
I really like the lyrics in Love is Blind by Amy Winehouse.
When it was dark and I was lying.
This answer changes all the time, but Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
You better stick with that one and then do it one day. He's never done karaoke. He would watch us all, which is amazing. He's a supportive friend. Yeah. I was surprised to hear that he even has a favorite karaoke song.
Why?
Oh, because I love to just listen, and I think I get a little bit nervous when I have to sing in public.
You nervous?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, singing is my Achilles heel.
Guys, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for talking to me, and congratulations on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.